Hello and welcome everybody to our Share My Story online edition. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting a bit with Jessica Craig, business broker and M&A advisor at Pacific M&A Business Brokers. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I would love to know, tell us a little bit about you and your business and what you do. Share with us.
Sure. So I am in Victoria. I've been here for about 10 years, and I recently graduated with my MBA from the Gustafson School of Business. And after that, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I was working for a bank, and it wasn't really a good fit. And then I was always interested in mergers and acquisitions and post-merger integration. And I got this opportunity to work for Pacific. So I started last year, and it's been amazing. Very, very interesting work. And what we do is we help people buy and sell businesses. So Pacific is a boutique business brokerage and merger and acquisition firm out of Vancouver. They've been there for 16 years. We have 10 brokers in total, myself here on Vancouver Island. The majority of our brokers are in Vancouver and then in the Okanagan. It's been very interesting so far. And we help people, like I said, buy and sell businesses, whatever stage you're at, there's something that we can do for you.
That's amazing. Wow. And you're the only broker in Victoria then?
For Pacific, yes. We do have some other players in the industry on the island as well. But for Pacific, I'm the only one.
That's amazing. So tell us a bit more about what all goes into that, buying and selling a business. Like, what is it that you would offer a client in that regard?
For sure. So we do, it's kind of a little bit different between the sell side and the buy side, but on the sell side, we have a systematic 5-stage process that we follow for all of the businesses. It can be a little bit different and tailored to each business because every deal is different, but the process stays the same. And it starts with the valuation. So we always do that first to make sure that you're ready to go to market and you're going to market at the right price, at the right time, and all of those things to make sure that you get a sale successfully closed. And the valuation we can do separately from that listing process, or we can do it as part of the whole thing, depending on where you are in your sale process. If you're just thinking about it, sometimes it's a good idea to do the valuation up front or to do it later on, really up to you. And then on the buy side, we also have a passive and a proactive process as well for people looking to buy a business. If we can source something for you, we'll do that. If something comes up, then we'll just passively send our listings to you so that you know what's coming up, what the market looks like, and all those good things.
That sounds amazing. And when would a seller come to you? Like, at what stage do you usually feel it will be, a good call for a seller to be like, in the very beginning? And we're like, no, I'm ready to sell right now. Let's go. I got everything ready.
Definitely you want to take some time. So the earlier, the better. And the nice thing about the valuations that we do is they're very in-depth. It's not just looking at your historical financials and doing a quick, it might be about this much. Like, we really get in there and look at your value drivers and what's driving that enterprise value at that time. So what can you do over the next 2 to 3 years, even 5 years, to increase that enterprise value if that's something that you want to do? But we can help either at that kind of, 3 to 5 years stage to do evaluation, or we can do one right when you're ready to sell. If you've got about a year, then that's a good time as well. If you don't want to take that extra time to do those things that might increase the enterprise value, if you're ready to sell, we can do it in, usually about a year.
Wow. I had no idea that you'd have like a 5-year kind of potentially, right? I mean,
potentially.
Yeah, everyone's different, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing, good or bad about either. It's just nice to be prepared. So if you think, a lot of people, when they're ready to retire, they have kind of a number in mind. They're like, I think my business is worth X amount of dollars, but then they go get their valuation done and it's not what they had hoped for. So doing it early on gives you that time to be like, okay, that's not what I hoped for, but maybe I could do these few things over the next 2 or 3 years to increase that value to get closer to the number that I wanted.
That makes sense. What else should viewers know about what you do? Is there any aspect you feel like a lot of people are like, okay, so what does that mean? Or how does this work? Or is there a lot of questions that come up over and over again?
I think a big one is definitely that piece about the valuation and taking that time. I think that's a really big one. But also the whole process that in itself, like to go through all of the different steps. We do all the marketing material for you. We list the business both nationally and internationally. So you have a large pool of buyers. And a lot of people don't necessarily think about those things. And they're like, I could sell my business. And you probably could, but there's lots of different things that come into that large pool of buyers, different private equity groups that you might not have access to. So we bring all of those things in. And then we go through the whole due diligence process with you, which can be pretty significant. It takes a lot of time and effort to get all of those things going on and manage all of your, your advisors, your lawyers, your accountants, and all of those different things to get you across the finish line. We do have a very high success rate. It is 95%, which is really, really great in our industry. So it definitely makes a big difference. And I think that's probably something that people don't really think about. It's just like the way that,
what all goes
that you need to go through. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we just went through that buying a house, and I had no idea the amount of people and different things that went into it. You're like, well, I'm going to buy a house, whatever. But I mean, there's so much that goes into that.
Yeah, totally.
Is there a client that would be too small to think about contacting you?
We have different programs depending on the size of your business. So if you are quite a smaller client, then we do have kind of a flat rate program that might be a good fit for you. We call it our micro and distressed program. It has a flat rate, and then we go through kind of a value range with you. We can help you market, and then we don't do quite as much of the due diligence and all of those things because you're a bit smaller. You don't need quite as much support throughout the whole process.
That makes sense. Awesome. And do you have any other advice for our viewers?
I think just to take the time, take the time and be realistic in what you're looking for. I think a lot of people call us kind of later on in the game because they think that it's going to cost them something, or it's, we're going to try to make a sale right away. That's not the case. Just, it's nice to just call and chat and see what your options are with no obligation one way or the other. So, if you're thinking about it, it doesn't hurt just to chat with somebody and see what they think about it. And whether it's us or someone else, you chat to a few people, just get kind of an idea of what you want to do early on to plan that out.
That's awesome. And how can people best reach you?
Probably either at our website, so pmabb.com. But I'm also pretty reachable personally. You can find me on LinkedIn, send me an email, phone me. All of my information is on our website.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jessica. And I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.